You think the FBI closes every single case? That's what the movies show. Determined agents chasing leads until justice is finally served. But reality looks different. Every year, active files get quietly moved to the bottom of the stack. Investigations that cost millions just end. No press release, no explanation. The families keep asking questions. The Bureau stops answering. Some cases involved powerful people. Others touched things the government would rather forget. A few just got too strange to explain. These are 10 crimes where the FBI walked away. Subscribe to the channel because these stories deserve to be heard. Number 1. In 1981, a 6-year-old boy named Adam Walsh was abducted from a Sears department store in Hollywood, Florida. His mother had left him in the toy aisle for just a few minutes. 16 days later, his severed head was found in a drainage canal 120 miles away. The rest of his body was never recovered. The FBI joined the investigation immediately. They had suspects, they had witness statements, they had a man named Otis Toole who confessed multiple times. But here's what few people know. The case was officially closed in 2008 without a single prosecution. Toole died in prison in 1996, never formally charged. The FBI stepped back years before that. Adam's father went on to create America's Most Wanted. The agency that failed his son became a regular feature on the show. Number 2. Angela Hammond was 20 years old when she vanished from a phone booth in Clinton, Missouri in 1991. She was talking to her fiancé Rob when a truck pulled up. He heard her scream. He heard a man's voice. Then the line went dead. Rob jumped in his car and actually spotted the truck speeding away. He chased it until his transmission blew. The FBI took over after local police hit dead ends. They identified a suspect. They had the truck description. They had Rob's testimony. But the investigation stalled. By 1995, the Bureau had moved on to other priorities. Angela was declared legally dead in 1998. To this day, her body has never been found. The phone booth is gone now too. Number 3. Johnny Gosch was 12 when he disappeared while delivering newspapers in West Des Moines, Iowa in 1982. The FBI refused to get involved initially, calling it a local matter. When they finally joined years later, they found something strange. Witnesses had seen a man photographing Johnny on his route days before the abduction. Others reported a suspicious car following him, obvious leads. But the official story says they went nowhere. Johnny's mother, Noreen, claims her son actually visited her in 1997, alive, saying he couldn't come home because dangerous people were watching. The FBI dismissed her account. The case remains open technically, but has seen no active investigation in decades. Some researchers believe Johnny's disappearance connects to a larger network. The Bureau has never confirmed or denied this theory. Number 4. In 1982, 7 people died in Chicago after taking Tylenol capsules laced with potassium cyanide. The FBI launched one of the largest investigations in its history. They interviewed thousands. They tested hundreds of bottles. They had a prime suspect, a man named James William Lewis, who had sent an extortion letter to Johnson & Johnson demanding $1 million to stop the killings. Lewis served 13 years for the extortion charge, but he was never charged with the murders. The investigation officially ended in 2010 with no resolution. Why would they stop? According to former agents, the physical evidence had degraded beyond usefulness. But here's what few people know. Lewis wasn't the only suspect. Another man connected to the case died under mysterious circumstances before he could be fully investigated. The FBI never explained why his file was closed early. Number 5. The Springfield Three vanished from a Missouri home in June 1992. Cheryl Levitt, her daughter Suzanne, and Suzanne's friend Stacy were simply gone when morning came. The porch light was broken. A message on the answering machine had been deleted. The FBI assisted local authorities for years, but gradually reduced their involvement by the late 1990s. They said the trail had gone cold. But tips kept coming in. In 2010, a writer claimed the women were buried under a hospital parking garage built shortly after their disappearance. Ground-penetrating radar showed anomalies in the concrete. The FBI declined to excavate, citing insufficient evidence. The families pushed for years. The concrete remains undisturbed. Some investigators believe the case touched someone with enough influence to make problems disappear. The official story mentions limited resources. The timing tells a different story entirely. Number 6. DB. Cooper hijacked a Northwest Orient flight in November 1971, collected $200,000 in ransom, and parachuted into the night somewhere over Washington state. He was never seen again. The FBI spent 45 years hunting him. They analyzed parachutes, interviewed suspects, tested DNA from a tie he left behind. In 2016, they announced they were suspending active investigation. Resources needed elsewhere, they said. But here's what few people know. A citizen investigator named Tom Colbert presented the Bureau with evidence pointing to a specific suspect, a Vietnam War veteran with parachute training. The FBI refused to test the DNA sample he provided. They closed the case without ever explaining why. The ransom money, except for a few bills found by a river in 1980, was never recovered. Cooper became a folk hero. The truth became another buried file. Number 7. Between 1971 and 1997, the Alphabet Killer murdered at least 3 young girls in Rochester, New York. Each victim's first and last name started with the same letter. Each body was found in a town matching that letter. Carmen Colon in Churchville, Wanda Walkowitz in Webster, Michelle Mayenza in Macedon. The pattern was deliberate. The FBI assisted for years, developing profiles and analyzing evidence. They had suspects. They had theories. But by the early 2000s, federal involvement had essentially ended. The case files were transferred fully to local authorities who lacked the resources to pursue new leads. A prime suspect, a factory worker who knew all 3 families, died in 1991 before he could be charged. To this day, the killer has never been officially identified. The families still wait. Number 8. The Finders case from 1987 remains one of the strangest in FBI history. Police in Tallahassee found 6 children in a park with 2 well-dressed men. The children appeared malnourished and showed signs of abuse. Investigation led to a Washington, D.C. warehouse filled with photographs of children participating in strange rituals, along with documentation about obtaining children from foreign sources. The FBI took over from customs agents investigating the case. Then something unusual happened. Within weeks, the investigation was classified and shut down. A memo surfaced years later claiming the finders had connections to the CIA. The children were returned to the group. No charges were ever filed. When journalists filed Freedom of Information requests decades later, they received heavily redacted documents that raised more questions than answers. Some files remain classified. Number 9. Aisha Degree was 9 years old when she walked out of her home in Shelby, North Carolina at around 4 in the morning on Valentine's Day, 2000. Multiple witnesses saw her walking along Highway 18 in the rain. When a driver slowed down to help, she ran into the woods. She was never seen again. The FBI joined the search immediately. They found her book bag buried in plastic wrap a year later, 25 miles away. They found candy wrappers and a pencil that didn't belong to her. But despite 2 decades of effort, the case has produced no arrests. The Bureau reduced active investigation years ago, though technically the file stays open. Aisha's parents still live in the same house, hoping she'll find her way home. Her mother keeps her room exactly as she left it. The candy wrappers were never traced. Number 10. Susan Powell vanished from her West Valley City, Utah home in December 2009. Her husband Josh told police he took their 2 young sons camping in freezing temperatures that night. The FBI investigated Josh extensively, but never gathered enough evidence to charge him. They believed they knew what happened, but without a body, prosecution was impossible. In 2012, Josh killed himself and both sons during a supervised visit, setting his house on fire. The case went cold permanently. Susan's body has never been found. Her parents spent years searching abandoned mines in the desert. The FBI officially stepped back after Josh's death. The investigation now exists only on paper. Susan's father still drives to the desert sometimes, looking for any sign of his daughter. Some cases don't end, they just stop.